Hello everybody, welcome to my channel and to today's video. I'm actually going to be testing out a new brand for me today. I've purchased this from, where did I get it from? I got it from Beauty Bay, and this is all Wet n Wild makeup today. Not quite a full face, only because I was adding things in the basket. It was on Good Friday, so a lot of it was like 30, 40, 50% off, and the basket got a little bit, the total got a little bit over the top, to be perfectly honest. So I took some bits out and left myself with sort of the basics that I wanted to try. So first of all, I'm going to show you that I got 4 brushes. I've got, this one is a blusher brush, there we go. I've got a large eyeshadow brush, which seems to be quite a big fluffy one. I've got, this was down as a small concealer brush, and then this one is the small eyeshadow brush. Now these were literally, they were literally a couple of pound each. They were, you know, really not expensive at all. And when they've come, what I really quite like is they've all got a plastic sort of protector cap on them. Can you see that? So if I pull that off, I'm not quite sure. Oh no, that way. There we go. And oh, they've got like a dip in the handle. There we go, just to prove it's Wet n Wild. So they feel fairly sturdy. Maybe not the softest brushes, but you know. So we're going to test all these out today whilst I'm applying the products that I bought from the range. So the first thing I got was a Wet n Wild concealer to try, and I got this in the shade Light Ivory. So I'm going to take this out of the packaging and I'm going to give you a little swatch. The thing I do find that I find a little bit awkward about getting things like this online is the fact that you've got to try and get the shade right, and when you're literally just, you know, going off of a picture, it can be quite awkward, quite difficult. So we'll give you a little look at that. That's what it looks like, and let's just do a little swatch. Let's see what we think. Oh, that is quite light. That seems like it'll be okay. I don't think it's too light, so that's pretty good. Although I always prefer my concealer to be a bit lighter rather than a bit darker, but that's just personal preference. The next item I bought was the eyeshadow primer. There we go, so I thought we'd give this a go today. And that's what the inner packaging looks like. There we go. Let's have a look. Oh, right, okay, it's one of these. So let's have a go at trying to get this out. Oh, okay. That's quite a... I mean, it says it dries clear, but it did come out sort of skin-toned colour, but there we go. That, I've just blended it in on the back of my hand. I don't know if you can see, but it's right underneath the concealer there. It's feels quite thick, so I'll be interested to see how that goes on. So that's hence why I bought the concealer brush, because I thought, well, that'll do the concealer and it'll do the eye primer. So that's that. Then the next thing I bought, oh, this I just was really intrigued about. I have to apologise though, I didn't realise until it arrived that these 2 next items are actually limited edition. I wouldn't normally buy limited edition things because obviously I want to review them, I want to test them out, and if they're limited edition they might not be around for long if it's something that you decide you might like. But anyway, so I didn't know they were limited edition. These 2 next products were both half price, and this is a cream blush. Now then, don't panic. You're going, but it's black! Yeah, I know it's black. It's one of these colour change ones. So it's supposed to transform to a berry colour. So, but I just want to show you the inside, because Can you see those? It's got like some pinky, goldy, purpley reflex in it. So let's give it a swatch. So this is a cream blush. It feels quite nice, feels a bit oily. Oh, look. There we go. There's the colour on my finger. So I'm going to pop a little bit on my hand here and just see what we think. Okay, I can see like the faintest hue of colour, so I'm getting the impression that might need a little bit of building up. Let's just go in again. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's got a lovely shimmer on it, I have to say. Okay, so see if you can see that. My ring light might be a bit, it's just down here, just down there. So we're going to give that a go. And then the next thing I've got is this little eyeshadow quad. It's called Secret Garden Rendezvous, and I just thought it looked really pretty. I really liked the colours. Unfortunately no shade names on this, but I'll open it up because we've definitely got, down here we've got definitely like a champagne-y shimmer shade. This here seems to be like a very pale brown matte shade, but it has got some little reflex of gold in it. Then this sort of pinky raspberry shade, this seems to be a pure matte. And then I'm thinking this purpley bluey shade looks to be a little bit like a satiny shade. So we're going to be using all four of these today. We're going to give it a go. You're going to see my first impressions because I've never used Wet n Wild before. So let's get into it. Face is already primed. I've got my foundation on. I've done my contouring, but that is it, obviously, because I've got the blusher and I've got the concealer and the eyeshadow primer. So we are going to go in with the concealer brush, and we are going to do the concealer under my eyes first, and I'm just popping a small amount on the back of my hand. Got my mirror. Ooh, there we go. Don't particularly want it too much in shot. There we go. Oh, nearly forgot. Put the headband on. Swapped onto my reindeer ears at the minute, just for a, bit of a change. There we go. So picking this up, and let's go underneath the eyes. It is going on quite well. It does feel quite thick, and actually now it's on there, I'm not sure if it's maybe, I maybe could have done with going with a slightly lighter shade. It's matching in my foundation perfectly, but like I say, just personal preference. I normally like to have a shade a little bit lighter, just so it helps brighten the area up a little bit. Got something stuck in the corner there, not sure what that is. It might well be some of the pressed glitter from yesterday's look, because I can still see it, even though I've washed my face about 4 times. I've still got pressed glitter everywhere. So the coverage of this concealer, I don't think it says. I'd say it's a pretty full coverage. It's not too bad. Does feel quite creamy, so I'd be interested to see how it dries down. Yeah, so far it's not too bad. I'd be interested to see what it looks like by the end of doing this look. See how it settles into fine lines and wrinkles and things. And as always, you will get my honest opinion and an honest review. There's no point beating around the bush, is there? Let's face it. because that doesn't help anybody. It's blended out quite nicely, quite quickly. Yeah, I think I would have preferred to have gone for a lighter shade. I just feel as though the dark circles and things are not particularly being covered brilliantly, but that's absolutely fine. At least we know. So there we go, just wipe that off the back of my hand, wipe the brush a little bit, and now we're going to go in with the eyeshadow primer. Here we go, and I've just noticed my battery light is flashing at me, so I might have to cut off after this and come back to you in a bit when the battery's charged up. So just go in, tapping on. It goes on nicely, it's feeling nice. Like I say, apparently it dries down clear, so we shall see about that. Now obviously I am a big fan of the NYX Proof It eyeshadow primer, so look, I think this was like £3, so I thought, well, I will give it a go. If I don't think it works, or I have a reaction, or it's not for me, it's not a problem, it's £3, you know. I mean, this entire order for the 8 items, the 4 brushes and the 4 pieces of makeup, came to a grand total of £21.22. So when you work that out, dividing that by 8, you're literally looking at, oh, what we're looking at, £2.50 a product, £2.60 a product, something like that. So very, very affordable. And yet my battery is about to die, so I'm just going to show you the eyeshadow primer on there. Again, I don't think it's lightened up the eye area as much as my NYX one does, but we'll give it half an hour, let my battery charge up a wee bit. I'll be right back. Hello everybody, I'm back. My battery has charged up a bit, so fingers crossed I managed to get through this video before it cuts out again on me. So obviously we've just done the eyeshadow primer, so now we are going to go into the eyeshadow quad. I'm just going to swatch these for you, just on my arm here, so we can have a little look at the formula and see what the colours are going to be like. I think I know the look I'm going to try and do, but we'll have a little swatch. So, ooh, that feels nice and soft. I'm just going into the first champagne-y, shimmery shade. That's quite nice. Very gentle, but quite nice. I think that'll be a nice inner corner highlight, maybe under the eyebrow highlight as well. This brownie matte one, let's have a look at that. That's quite pale as well, but not too bad. You can see the gold reflex in that a little bit as well. Now for this blue. Ooh, this feels quite dry. Not a massive amount of kick up in the pan, so that's good. There we go. It's that one. That's quite dark actually. See, on the finger it seems quite shimmery, but it's not swatched out that way. And then this one, this sort of raspberry one, let's have a look at that. Okay, so on the swatches they don't seem the most pigmented, I have to say, but that doesn't always ring true. So we're just going to grab a brush and get these on the eyes and see what happens from there. I think I'm going to use the big sort of fluffy blending brush first of all, and I'm going to use the sort of pale brownish shade just as sort of a transition shade almost. Let's see how it picks up on the brush. I am using the Wet n Wild brush as well, so picks up okay. So let's go in and see what we think. Alright, so first impression is that yes, that is going on a lot more pigmented onto the eye than what it swatched out like. So yeah, see what I mean? Sometimes it doesn't always follow that even if they don't swatch brilliantly on the arm, it doesn't mean to say they're not going to go on the eye very well. I have to say this brush is lovely and soft, perhaps a little bit big for my eyes, but I do have very, very small eyes, so I do have a bit of an issue with getting brushes to fit. They often can be a bit too big for me, so I'll just pat that down a wee bit. So you can see I've not sort of gone into the crease at all yet today. This being the first shade, I just want to get it all the way over this upper lid, right under that brow bone. Yeah, it's going on quite nicely. Like I say, probably not the most pigmented colour in the world, but having said that, do I want this one to be? Not really. Not bad at all. You can see the gold reflex in it as well, so that's nice. Adds a little bit of sparkle. So just blend that out a little bit more. I did go in, because the eyeshadow primer had dried a bit whilst I was waiting for my camera to charge up, my battery to charge up. It had dried a little, so I did go in and pop a little bit more of that on before I started filming again. So next, I think I'm going to go in with this darker purpley shade, and I think we're going to do the outer corner in that, and maybe under the lash line as well. I'm going in with the smaller eyeshadow brush for this. Now this brush does feel quite, there's not a lot of give in it, if you know what I mean. It's not a fluffy brush, it's quite a dense brush. It doesn't, okay, it's picked up on the brush, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So we'll just pat that down into the outer corner, like I say. First time I've ever used Wet n Wild. So we're looking at the pigment, we're looking at the payoff, we're looking at how the product picks up on the brushes, how they blend together. So a little bit of everything today. Now that's already that's not coming out the colour I expected at all. It's not coming out, and it's coming out like it's swatched on the arm, really quite dark and black, and yet in the pan it looks like it should be a really, really beautiful metallic-y purpley colour, but I'm not getting any sort of metallic-y look at all coming onto the eye, which is a little disappointing, not gonna lie. Might just need a bit more building up, we'll see. It's also going on a little bit patchy as well, and that's not ideal. So we'll just keep working it, see what happens. Yeah, it is really quite patchy. It did feel incredibly dry when I swatched it, so yeah, that's virtually black. There's hardly any sort of purple in there at all. And that can't be because I put that really light brown down. I mean, that shouldn't make any difference. I tell you what, I'm going to pick a bit more up on the brush and I'm going to spray it with my face mist. Let's see what happens then. Let's see if we get any better sort of colour payoff from it. The brush is quite nice. Nice for doing quite detailed work, I have to say. Because it's not a sort of loose, fluffy brush, you can really get in there and work quite nicely with it. Well, I'd say formula-wise, unfortunately, I'm going to go with this being a little bit of a dud. I think it's just too dry. It's a bit patchy. The colour that it is in the pan it's deceiving. It looked beautiful in the pan, but it's not coming off that colour, or certainly not what I can see. No, I think I'm starting to get a little bit of a metallic-y shine coming out, but this is taking an awful lot of work. Yeah, not overly impressed with this one whatsoever. Like I say, I am getting a little bit more of the purpley shimmery hue coming out now. I'm really working it, but you shouldn't have to work this hard to get that effect. It's still looking quite patchy on this outer corner, and you know, how long have I been trying to sort this out for now? Quite a while. Okay, let's go in and do the other eye. I'm going to really load this brush up. I'm going to spray it quite a lot, and let's see. May have to run a couple of minutes of music over this section because it could take a while. come back. Personally, no, I think that's looking a bit of a mess. I'm gonna go in with this first brush up again, and I'm just gonna try and do some blending, but I'm not overly hopeful. I've got a bit of fallout down here. Get another clean brush. I mean, it has gone on better with by wetting the brush. It has definitely gone on better, but I don't think, I don't think the formula's the best on that. Like I say, I think it's a bit too dry, really. If that was a matte, it'd have been fine, but I think it's meant to be a sort of satiny, shimmery shade, and that just doesn't come off very well at all. Yeah, personally I think no, I'm not impressed with this shade whatsoever. So like I say, I think a bit of a dud, really, that one. Never mind. Because I've mucked up that brush so much, I'm just going to grab another brush. I'm going to get a small one. You know when you know the brush you're looking for? I was just about to say, when you know the brush you're looking for and then you can't find it. So, we're now going to fill in the rest of that eyelid with this raspberry colour. And let's see how this one performs. So I'm going over where that sort of purpley, bluey, browny, blacky, whatever it is. Let's just go over that, the edge of that, to sort of blend that out a bit better as well. And then we'll come in with this one. Again, I don't feel as though this is the most pigmented colour in the world. I don't think it's the worst. Definitely tried some others in my time that would beat this, but yeah, a little bit lacklustre, I'm afraid, at the minute would be my very first reaction and gut impression to this palette. And if this is a reflection of the Wet n Wild formula, I honestly don't know whether or not I would even bother trying anymore. I mean, this little eyeshadow quad was reduced from £5 to £2.50. For £2.50 for 4 shades, it's 60p an eyeshadow. Am I upset by that? Am I, you know, no, not at all. I think even at £5, if I'd have paid full price, I'd have probably been like, well, you know, not my favourite, but at the end of the day it was a £5. But yeah, I have to say, and you know what, I am really quite disappointed that I'm not liking this formula. I'm not overly impressed with it because it is a very affordable brand, and I was really hoping that I was going to love it because, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, so to have found an affordable brand where you're impressed with the formula and the payoff and, you know, everything about it is ideal, isn't it? Let's face it. So again, I've got some fallout on the side of my nose, so I'm just going to grab a powder brush and try and sweep that away. There we go. Alrighty, I think that's probably about the best I can do. I'm happy with the blend. Now I've put that sort of raspberry shade down. It has blended in quite well into where that purple finished, and actually lightened up that purple a little bit. So I'm quite happy-ish with that as far as it goes. I'm just gonna grab a little lipstick brush, and I'm going to go into this champagne-y shimmery shade. Now, I don't think, let's try it on the brow as a brow highlight, just dry. There we go, that's not too bad, that's worked quite well. It's actually coming out more golden than anything. Just grab just go for a blender brush, dry blender brush, clean one. Yeah, it's come out more golden than sort of champagne-y. I was expecting that to be a little bit lighter. Yeah, I think as a brow highlight that works quite nicely. So we shall go in a moment and also use it as an inner corner highlight. See what happens there. Yeah, I definitely expected it to come out a lot lighter. I don't know if that's because it's gone on top of that first sort of brownie shade and that's got some gold reflex in it. So whether or not it's picking up on those, I don't know. So let's try as an inner highlight colour. We're going to try it dry first and then see what we think. So I'm just stamping that down right onto the tear duct. Just going up ever so slightly. And you see how I was expecting to have to wet this, but I mean you could obviously, but it's actually gone on quite nicely dry. So that's a bit of a surprise. So overall, I would say that the mattes are okay. The satin shade, not overly impressed. I would say the best formula in this little palette is by far the shimmer shade. So that has, yeah, that's worked out really quite well. Really quite well. I would have liked this to have been a little bit lighter and literally not quite so golden. If it had been more of an actual champagne-y colour, that might have been nice. But, and I think that's another thing I'm probably taking away from this little quad, is that in actual fact the colours as they appear in the quad go on rather quite differently on the eye. There's quite an amount of kick up as well. Yeah, and I think just as a final step I am just going to take this blending brush, I'm just going to get a little bit of that ready raspberry colour, and I'm going to go just in the middle under the lower lash line, if I can get it. There we go. Just to blend into that purple and then to join up with the other highlight colour. To pick a bit more up. Is it? It's going to work, I think. Just about. Okay, so I think what I might do is I might just go off camera, I might have a look at my eyeliners and decide what eyeliner to put on, do some mascara, choose a lipstick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. Here's the finished look. I'm going to show you the eyes first of all. See what you think. My overall first impressions of this eyeshadow quad is the shimmer is lovely. That's actually quite a nice formula. The two mattes, they're alright, they're not bad, they're a bit lackluster, you need to go over, but they do blend out okay. This satiny one though, I don't know, goes on better with the brush wet rather than dry. But it's still, to me, it's still not really the colour that it's showing in there. And it took an awful lot of work and going over and over with the brush, and payoff wasn't great, to be perfectly honest. So, just to finish off the look, I went in with my NYX Extreme Purple Liquid Liner. There we go, that's that one, so that's what I've got on the upper lashes. Lower lashes, I used my Colourpop Piggy Bank, and for my lips I've used the Medusa's Makeup lip gloss that we got in this month's box in the shade Night Fever. It's quite nice, it's a bit sticky, smells divine, but I'll see how that wears throughout the day. On my lashes, like normal, I've got my NYX on the Rise, and then I have also put on as well the blusher, the Wet n Wild blusher. Now, I have to say, I've been quite impressed with this. When I was bobbing the brush in, if I show you the edge of the brush, it doesn't look, when you're putting it in, it doesn't look like you're picking anything up on the brush. But then when I went in on my cheeks, I was actually quite impressed with the application. Dead easy to build up. I put about 2 or 3 layers on to get it to this sort of colour payoff. I'm quite happy with it. I quite like that. So I think that for £2.50, because that was half price as well, that I'm quite happy with. The eyeshadow quad, no. I might go in and try it again and have a little play with my NYX Proof It eyeshadow primer, because maybe the reason it's not got on brilliantly is because of the primer. I don't know, because obviously I used the Wet n Wild primer today. So I think what I might do, I might try the quad again off camera and try it with my normal primer and see what happens. And I'll definitely try this again, but maybe with some eyeshadows that I've already used, so I know how they work, and to see whether or not I can figure out if it was the primer that was maybe not brilliant as well. And then just as a setting mist and just to add an extra little glow, we are in the party season, so I've used my Candy Cosmetics Pre-Glow Up Mist. Let me know what you think. Sound off down below. What do you think to the look? What do you think to Wet n Wild's products? Have you used them? What was your experience with them if you have? Let me know down below, guys. Give me a thumbs up if you've liked this. Please, please subscribe if you haven't already, and turn that bell on so that way you're not going to miss the videos that, you know, I keep putting out and when they get uploaded. I'm generally trying to upload about 6 o'clock UK time in the evening. Let me know, is that okay for you? Is it not? Would you prefer another sort of time slot? Just, I thought that worked quite well for me, but let me know. All right, enjoy the rest of your day and I'll see you soon. Bye.